Yesterday we talked about a new series that should be created to start expanding the Power Rangers universe, and we explained how everything should start. However, when we think about this whole project, it might be very challenging, and perhaps the owners of the franchise don't want to make such a big investment without knowing the risks. The biggest danger involved in creating such an important series is the loss of money, because when you create a production you don't know if it is going to be a success. Producers may think that what they are creating is going to be a success. Even the fans themselves may think that it is obviously going to be a success, but nobody really knows what is going to happen, and the result is known after the premiere of each project. Before each production there are a lot of expectations. We all start to imagine what can happen just based on some previews we receive from the production. Unfortunately, nobody knows anything until the day the production is released, because the public is the one who decides, and I am not talking about the fans. Normally the fans do not decide the success of a production, because in order to generate millions of dollars in profits you need many people to consume the product, and the fans are not enough to generate this amount of money. In addition to this, fans do not stand in gray areas. They make a solid decision. Some love the product, and some hate the product. Those who are not fans of that product are the ones who may consume it simply because they want to give it a chance and start learning about it. They may like the product a little bit and decide to consume it again at another time. I know that these are concepts that do not seem important, but the reality is that it is the most important thing for big companies to make big investments of money to create projects like a Power Rangers universe. Even though these series are a great idea and maybe they could be a long-term project that lifts the franchise, still, we must accept that it is a big risk. Because of this, it is very difficult for the owners of Power Rangers to decide to create series like these, as it may result in only fans of the franchise watching the series, and the general public may not have much interest. This would cause a huge loss of money and may affect the regular Power Rangers series. The company needs to start thinking of a way to be able to continue to expand the Power Rangers universe, but at the same time not have so much risk, and the answer to this could be the animated series. I know it took a long time to get to this point, which is the most important one in the video, but we needed to explain the reason why the producers may decide to go this way. We know that making animated series has many benefits, but at the same time it has many negative things if we compare it with normal series. Let's start naming some positive things to know those reasons why they should make animated series. There are many franchises that have chosen to make animated series and movies. This can give them a good reference to the company to know what they should do so that these series do not look like cartoons. One positive thing that an animated series can have is that you do not need a very high budget to make a project, and with this we are not talking about animated series like Pixar. Those series are in 3D and obviously have a very large team. The series you need to create are 2D projects, with a serious and dark style so that we can have something of high quality. A good example of this are the DC movies, 2D animated projects, but with a very serious style so they don't look like cartoons. The stories of these movies are very dark. There is blood, deaths, difficult conflicts, difficult love relationships, and many crazy villains who have taken down the heroes in impressive ways. Another positive thing about these animated series is that you can have a lot of creative freedom, and by that I don't just mean the story. One of the most epic things about this Power Rangers franchise is that it has a lot of heroes since it's been 30 years of history, and this represents a great opportunity. It is always very epic when they bring back Rangers from the past so they can help the new Rangers defeat some powerful villain. Although we have seen this many times in the TV series, It really is always very difficult to pull off, as this depends on many factors. The producers must find out if the Ranger they want to invite is going to be available, since they don't know if he has other projects. They must also find out if he is willing, since they are still human beings who may not want to continue participating in the franchise, as we have already witnessed. Another thing that affects is that, if the actor passes away, then this represents a very big problem, since the production must decide what they are going to do with the character. All these problems do not happen with an animated series, since they simply must draw the character, and the only difficult thing that can happen is that they have to change the voice actor for some situation. In this creative freedom, we should also mention the places they can draw, because in a real-life series it is sometimes difficult to film in a specific place, and to create places with CGI it is very expensive. We know that we can keep talking about the positive things since the list is long, but for now let's start talking about the negative things to be able to make the comparison. The worst thing about animated series is that it is difficult for people to take these projects seriously, because many are used to the idea that cartoons are for children. Specifically in the case of Power Rangers, this would be even worse, since the franchise has always aimed to be a series for kids, and if they create an animated series, then people are going to think that they are cartoons for kids. Regardless if the production creates a very dark series, with stories for adults, with a lot of blood and destruction, people who are not so fanatic about the franchise will possibly not give the series a chance, because they think it is for children. This does not mean that this enigma is going to last forever, as eventually the buzz will spread and many people will start wanting to watch the series. Another negative thing is that animated series and movies almost never have the public support like regular movies. The animated movies that have a lot of support are the 3D movies, but usually the 2D movies do not have the same support, and this is because people prefer to have a visual experience. We saw this with the Avatar movie, a project with a repetitive and basic story, but with impressive visual effects. No one minded sitting through 3 hours of watching the same story as the first movie. We were all impressed with the visual effects. This is the same with 2D animated movies, as their visual quality is limited and the project depends on the story being impressive. Despite all this, an animated series can be the solution to not have too many risks, but at the same time give the fans what they want and be able to expand this fantasy universe. If you would like to see an animated series like this video, and subscribe for a better Power Rangers universe.